Most people in tech are doing everything right on the career side. They're getting the offer, earning the salary, building the skills, and still ending up broke at 35. Not broke like they can't pay rent, but broke like they're making 250K a year and have almost nothing to show for it. No real savings, no investments, no path to ever stopping work. Just a nicer apartment and a leased car and a lifestyle that requires every dollar they make to sustain it. I'm a software engineer at Meta, and I hit $1 million net worth at 26. Not because I got lucky, I just followed a specific formula, and in this video I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. This is the exact playbook I used to go from a starting salary to a 7-figure net worth before most people have even paid off their student loans. The math works, the steps are repeatable, and if you're in tech, you have every resource you need to execute it. If you want the formula that actually builds wealth on a tech salary, not just theory, but the exact steps, stay until the end. So first you need to understand that high income and high net worth are not at all the same thing, but most people actually never figure this out. The average software engineer at a big tech company makes 150K to even 400K depending on the level and the company. That's generational wealth building income by any measure. Most of them are not building generational wealth though, and the reason for that is lifestyle inflation. What lifestyle inflation looks like in tech is when you land your first 120K offer and immediately sign a $3,000 a month apartment lease, or when you get promoted to 200K and now you're eating out every meal, flying business class, and buying things that you don't need just because you can. And by the time you're making 250K, you need 250K just to live, and you're no closer to freedom than you were at making 80K. The people who build real wealth are the ones who treated their first 150K the same way they treat their first 50K. Every single dollar that you spend is a dollar that cannot compound. So what exactly is the formula? It's not that complicated. There's basically just 3 variables. Variable 1 is income. This is what you need to maximize. You want to get into the highest paying role you can as fast as you can. You want to negotiate every single offer and level up aggressively, because a promotion at a big tech company can easily be a 50K to even upwards of 100K jump. Now the second variable in the formula is going to be your savings rate. This is the most important variable and the one that most people just ignore. The target is you want to have a minimum of 50% of your take-home pay. Ideally, you want to have 60% to 70%, and that sounds extreme until you actually do the math for yourself. Now variable 3 is going to be your returns. The right investment vehicles in the right order is what's going to maximize every single dollar that you have. I'll get into more detail on this in a bit. So the formula is actually very simple. It's going to be high income plus a high savings rate plus the right investment vehicles is what's going to get you wealth on an accelerated timeline. Now let me show you why the formula produces the result that it does. Let's take 2 scenarios. Scenario A is the average software engineer. They make 180K, they're saving 15% of their income, so they're investing 27K per year. That means they're going to hit $1 million in approximately 20 years. So if they started at 22, that means they could potentially retire at 42. And scenario B is when you use the formula. So you're also making 180K, but you're saving 60%. So that means you invest 108K per year. And then you can hit $1 million in approximately 7 to 8 years. So if you started at 22, you can easily retire at 29 or 30. So it's that easy. In both scenarios, you have the exact same income and the same market returns, but you end up with completely different timelines, and that's purely driven by the savings rate. So the compounding math really here is that 108K per year at 7% average market returns hits $1 million in roughly 7 years. So once you have $1 million invested, it can generate approximately 70K per year in average market returns without you adding another dollar. But here's the point that most people just miss. You don't need to grind a corporate job for 30 years to reach financial independence if you have a tech salary. 7 to 10 years of consistent saving and investing at a high rate is genuinely enough to build a net worth that gives you real options. And with that timeline, by no means is that a full career. That's a sprint with a finish line that most people don't even realize exists. You don't even need a FANG salary to get there necessarily. A solid tech company that's paying 120K to 150K is enough if your savings rate is high and you invest correctly. The market is definitely harder now and layoffs are real, but if you can hold a tech job for several years without getting caught in a major cut, the math is going to work in your favor regardless. If you use the 4% rule to withdraw, a $1 million portfolio can support up to 40K per year in withdrawals indefinitely. A $2 million portfolio will support 80K, and your number depends on your lifestyle, but the finish line is closer than most people think, and it's definitely reachable well before you turn 40. Now, where you put your money matters a lot. Here's the exact order that I used personally. Step 1 is to get your 401k up to your employer match. You want to get the full match before anything else because it's a 50 to 100% instant return and there's nothing that can beat it. It's guaranteed. And you want to automate it so that the money leaves your paycheck before you even see it. Now, step 2 is that you want to max out your HSA. The HSA is triple tax advantaged. No other account is like this. You can contribute pre-tax, grow tax-free, and then withdraw your money tax-free for any qualified medical expenses. You don't want to spend it now. You want to invest it and let it compound. After 65, it becomes a second IRA for any expense that you have. And now step 3 is the backdoor Roth IRA. Most engineers are over the income limit for a direct Roth contribution, so you have to contribute to a traditional IRA post-tax and then immediately convert. So you pay taxes now, but then your money grows tax-free forever. In 2026, the limit for a Roth IRA is $7,000. Now, step 4 is that if you do have money remaining, you want to max out your 401k fully. You want to go back and max the rest after the Roth IRA. And the limit for 2026 for the 401k is $23,500. And step 5 is the mega backdoor Roth if it's available. Some companies have this, but some companies don't. A lot of the big tech firms like Meta or Google do have this. Basically, you contribute after-tax dollars beyond the normal 401k limit, and then you can convert them to Roth. So you get an additional $40k plus per year in tax advantage space. So once you've done all that, you can use your taxable brokerage account for everything else. You want to use index funds primarily, so funds like VTI, VOO, total market funds, or the S&P 500. And by the way, if you want the exact resume template I used to get hired at Meta, click the first link in the description and I'll send it to you for free. But for now, let's get back to the video. So let me tell you what I actually invested in to build my net worth. So I kept the investment strategy extremely simple and I did this intentionally. I really just used index funds. So VTI, which is the total US market, and VOO, which is the S&P 500. I stayed away from individual stock picking personally. I'm not smarter than the market and neither is anyone else. And I also didn't time the market because I bought consistently regardless of what the market was doing. So basically there's lump sum investing versus dollar cost averaging. I was investing as soon as I could. Now, the one exception to the stock rule is when you have company stock. RSUs, or restricted stock units, are a significant part of compensation at most of the public big tech companies. The rule that I tried to live by is by keeping company stock under 20% of my total portfolio. Everything above that would get sold into index funds. There's a real risk with concentration. Some people make life-changing wealth holding a Meta stock or an Nvidia stock, but that works until it doesn't. You want to keep it pretty reasonable and automate everything so that contributions are going to happen whether you think about it or not. Okay, so now let's talk about the lifestyle side because this is where people actually fail. The investment strategy is actually the easy part. The lifestyle is where most people blow it. So with housing, you really just need a one-bedroom apartment. You don't need a status symbol. With a car, you want to have a reliable used car, and you don't want to have a monthly payment because cars are a depreciating asset. They're not an investment. And with food, I mostly cook at home, and that's what I would recommend for you as well. Eating out occasionally is fine, but you don't want that to be your default. And with everything else, you just want to cut ruthlessly unless it genuinely improves your life. Like for me, I'm okay with spending on travel once in a while, but I'm not going to spend on buying designer clothes because that just doesn't make sense to me. You really just need to spend intentionally on the things that actually matter to you and cut everything else out. The goal here isn't to live like a miserable person. It's simply just to stop spending money on things that don't make you happy just because you can't afford them. So here's how the math played out for me personally. I started out with a tech salary in my early 20s, but I kept my lifestyle close to what it was in college. I avoided the upgrade trap from day one. I maxed every single tax advantaged account that I could as soon as I was eligible, and I invested everything in index funds on autopilot. And that's what led me to hit 7 figures in my 20s. And here's what I want to be honest about. I think retiring by 30 is completely doable. Graduate with a CS degree at 22, start your tech job, and then commit to the formula I just went over. You have 7 to 8 years before you're 30. The math already showed you that 7 to 8 years at a 60% savings rate can get you to $1 million net worth. So retiring by 30 is not a fantasy. Everyone watching this can do it if they want it badly enough. No FANG salary is required. You don't need a special advantage. You just need the savings rate and the discipline to not let your lifestyle inflation eat your window up. The difference makers for me were getting into a high-paying tech company early and negotiating every single offer, not inflating my lifestyle when my income went up, which was the hardest part psychologically, and then starting early, because compounding rewards years, not dollars. So that's the exact formula I used to hit a 7-figure net worth in my 20s. The income side, the savings rate, the investment vehicles in the right order, and the lifestyle discipline that makes it all work. None of it is complicated. All of it is actually pretty doable if you're in tech and you're willing to actually follow through. If you want to take the next step, click the first link in the description and grab the exact resume template I used to get hired at Meta. It's completely free, and it's important because getting into a high-paying tech role is step one of this entire formula. And if you're not ready for that yet, I highly recommend watching the video on screen next, where I break down exactly how I got hired at Meta. Because the formula only works if you're earning the income to fuel it. Thanks for watching, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.